Hello, I'm Eiden, and in this video I'm going to teach you Roux. Roux is the second most popular speedcubing method after CFOP. It has a lower average move count than CFOP and is a completely rotationless method. Since most people will learn CFOP as their first method, I'll try and teach you Roux with a similar approach to CFOP. So let's get started. The first step in Roux is to make a 2x3 block like this. Then you make another 2x3 block on the other side. Then you solve all of the corners in a step called CMLL, and from here you can solve the entire cube using only M and U moves. So you can orient all of the edges, then solve these two, and then solve the rest. Since CFOP is my main method, I'm not very good with Roux, but I'll try my best. Since the last section of the Roux solve uses just M and U moves, it's important that you know the necessary finger tricks to be able to do these moves quickly. If you're right-handed, use your right hand for M moves and your left hand for U moves. If you're left-handed, then do them the other way around. So for M prime, you should use your ring finger and pull forwards like this. For M, use your ring or middle finger and push backwards like this. And for M2, do a double flick with ring, then middle. For U moves, if you're right-handed, do U prime normally as a flick, do U as either a reverse flick or a push, and do U2 as a double flick like this. Since most of you probably solve with CFOP, I'll do the first two blocks slightly differently. So firstly, you need to make two opposite edges of the cross. So here I've made blue and green. Next, you need to do F2L, but with no rotations. The reason that Roux has no rotations is that you leave the M slice unsolved until right at the end of the solve. So you can use it to reorient edges during the first two blocks if you have an F2L pair that would need a rotation to be solved in CFOP. The easiest way to check if an F2L pair needs a rotation in CFOP is to check if the side colour of the edge matches one of the side centres. So here, this edge, the side colour is green, and I can match it with the side centre here, which means it's a good edge. So I can solve this pair using only R, U and L moves. If the side colour of the edge does not match one of the side centres, like this one, then it's a bad edge and you would need to rotate if you were solving with CFOP. But with Roux, just put the edge into the back and do M to reorient it. Then you can solve it with only R, U and L moves. If an F2L edge is in the bottom, just do one M move to bring it to the top layer. Then you can just solve it with F2L. Once you've finished making the first two blocks, do an M move to solve the centres if they're not solved already. Now we need to do CMLL. If you know 2-look OLL and 2-look PLL, then you can do CMLL in two algorithms. Firstly, use one of these 7 algorithms from 2-look OLL to orient all of the corners. Then use either T-perm or Y-perm to solve them to their correct locations. I've put all 9 of these algorithms into the video description if you don't know them already. If you know full COLL, you can use the same 42 algorithms for CMLL also. Now we have to solve the last 6 edges using only M and U moves. Firstly, we need to do EO, or edge orientation. For this step, we'll define a good edge as having either white or yellow on the top or bottom, and a bad edge as anything else. So we want it to look something like this, where all of the top and bottom is made of only white and yellow. The only EO algorithm that you need to learn is M prime, U, M. You need to remember that this algorithm reorients these 3 edges and this one at the bottom. So for EO, we need to always use that algorithm to set up to having exactly 4 bad edges. There are actually 11 possible cases for EO, but as long as you can figure out how to reorient some of the edges until you have exactly 4 bad edges, you can solve all of these 11 cases intuitively. For example, in this case, there are 2 bad edges. If we do M prime U M, it will turn these 3 into bad edges and this one into a good edge. So we'll have a total of 4 bad edges. So if we do that now, you can see that they've moved around, but there are now 4 bad edges. Now we need to get one of them into the bottom while 3 stay at the top. So we can insert this edge into the bottom with M' U2 M, which doesn't change the orientation of any of the edges. Now we can put the good edge in the back and orient all of the edges with M' U M, and that finishes EO. From now on, whenever we want to insert an edge into the bottom, we need to use M' U2 M to keep all of the edges oriented. So for the next step, we need to solve the edges that go in these 2 locations. Firstly, we need to find the 2 edges. So the blue one is here, and the green one is here. And now we need to put both of them into the bottom. So we can insert this one with M U2 M'. Then we're going to solve them both with M2. So we can see that the blue one will end up over here. So we need to do U2 so that it will end up solved. So we can do M2, and now we can solve them both with U. Now we can just undo the M2 to keep the centers correct. Lastly, we need to solve the whole cube, which you can probably do intuitively. But now, to keep everything else solved, we can't do U or U', meaning that we're only allowed to use M moves and U2. So we can solve this piece by inserting it into the bottom, and once you solve the 2 edges in the bottom, the rest of the cube will solve itself. So that's it for this video. If you're struggling with any of the steps from this video, I've put a help guide into the video description, so check there if you want help. As always, if you like my videos, please subscribe by clicking the button down here. Thanks for watching.